You're 14, shoveling your neighbor's driveway for $40 cash. 4 decades later, a private equity firm writes a check for $1.6 billion to buy the snow and landscape company you built. Between those two moments sits a $20.8 billion industry, 88,200 businesses, and a 1 in 6 chance per season that one customer's slip on ice ends your career. This is every level of American snow plowing and what it actually costs to climb. If you like breakdowns of how careers actually progress, like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Level 1. The Teen Shoveler. You are 14. You have a plastic shovel, a beanie, and a hand-drawn flyer taped to 12 mailboxes on your block. The going rate in your neighborhood is $20 to $50 per driveway. Cash, untaxed, door-to-door. Chicago homeowners get a $50 fine if the walks aren't cleared. So the first call of the morning is at 6:15, and it's not friendly. You shovel for 25 minutes, knock, collect $40, and the hourly math, if you're honest about it, is the highest you will ever earn in this industry. Your back already hurts. A solo kid on a good storm clears 5 to 10 driveways, so a heavy Saturday nets $200 to $400 in your coat pocket. Somewhere across town, a TaskRabbit shoveler named Giovanni charges $60 an hour and grosses $78,000 in the 2021 season, including $11,357 in a single month. You do not know this yet. You know your fingers are numb, your wrists are burning, and the last driveway on the block has an old man who tips an extra $10 because you did the walk to his door. The skill you are actually building, the one that pays later, is pricing by eye. Big driveway, short. Short driveway, corner lot, wind. Flat 30, flat 50. No quote takes longer than 10 seconds, and every house is a negotiation that closes before the storm ends. You wake at 3 a.m. during the next one, because the guy 3 blocks over will knock on the same doors if you don't. Most kids quit after one bad storm. The cold, the sprained back, the bus storms where the snow never hit the trigger. The ones who don't quit graduate the same way, by buying a used truck and a plow before they turn 20. Level 2. The Solo Plow Operator. You are 22. You've put $14,000 into a used F250 and another $5,495 into a Boss straight blade installed at a dealer in the Midwest. That is $19,000 before you have turned a single wheel in a storm. You owe most of it. Your phone is a list of 40 residential driveways at $40 a push, and a gross season, if the snow cooperates, lands between $30,000 and $80,000. You pre-treat the night before, wake at 2:47 a.m. to a phone buzzing with a 1-inch trigger alert, and push route number 1 23 houses before the morning commute. The real shift is 16 hours. The real storm, Winter Storm Jonas, January 2016, is 60 to 80 hours straight with whatever sleep you steal at a gas station pump. You learn the language fast. Trigger depth, backdrag, windrow, V-plow versus straight blade, pre-treat, salt run, per push. The language sounds like inside talk, because it is. It's the only way to bid jobs without losing money. Then the transmission on the F250 goes at hour 11 of a storm you've already committed to finishing. Because the transmission goes at hour 11, you borrow a friend's pickup, finish the route at a loss of $800, and add a second truck to your books by March, because one truck is not a business. Insurance alone is $500 to $1,500 a year for a solo before you touch commercial. The first time you add a salter to the bed, the math changes in your favor. A ton of bulk rock salt costs you $100 to $200. You apply it at about 500 pounds an acre, and you bill the customer $150 to $350 per acre per application. You are, for the first time, selling a product with 60% gross margin instead of selling your spine. Washout is still the rule. A fence clipped at 4 a.m., a lapsed commercial auto policy, one mild winter, and the note on the truck eats you alive. The ones who survive the second season add a salter and a second truck. Everyone else sells the plow at auction in April. Level 3. The Small Crew. You are 29. You run 3 trucks, 1 skid steer, and a salter. and your season revenue sits between $150,000 and $500,000. Your take-home, after insurance, fuel, repairs, and the one employee who actually shows up when dispatched, is $60,000 to $150,000, and half of it lands in 8 weeks of your year. You've stopped chasing driveways. You sub under a bigger outfit, a regional landscape and snow firm, for $65 an hour on the truck and $85 an hour on the skid. The route is 3 strip malls, a medical office park, and a 6-unit HOA. Because you sub, the hold harmless clause in your contract pushes the slip-and-fall liability down onto your name, not up to the firm that hired you, and you don't read it carefully the first time. Then a tenant falls at a strip mall you serviced at 3:40 a.m. The firm above you calls the insurer. The insurer calls you. You send over every time-stamped log you kept: arrival, depth, application rate, bag weight, and because your logs are complete and the pre-treat was applied before the freeze, the claim is closed on the contractor's policy above you, and your policy is untouched. The next morning you buy a second salter. You shift half your book from pure plowing to plowing plus salting, because the math is simple. Bulk salt at $150 a ton, applied at 500 pounds an acre, costs you about $38 of material on an acre you bill at $300, and that is before the push. Your skid steer operator quits in February because the hours are impossible. Because he quits, you plow your own route for 19 straight days on 3 hours of sleep a night, and you almost back the truck into a parked minivan on hour 14 of a 2-inch event. The decision that defines the level arrives on the last Monday of March. You can stay a sub, low admin, low sales burden, the big firm handles the paperwork, the slip risk stays mostly theirs. Or you can bid a direct account, a 9-store strip mall portfolio at $2,800 per acre for the season. Direct pays 35% more. Direct also requires a $2 million general liability policy, named additional insureds on every CG 2010 endorsement, and a 24-hour response guarantee. You bid direct, you win 6 of the 9. Then it's quiet again. By April, you've bought a 4th truck and hired a dispatcher. A third of the operators who reach level 3 quit here. The ones who stay are the ones who read the contract before they sign it, and sleep with the phone on the pillow for 20 weeks a year. Level 4. The small commercial firm. You are 38. You run 14 trucks, 4 skid steers, a loader with a pusher box, and 11 seasonal employees. Revenue is $1 million to $3 million. Your take-home, in a winter that actually snows, is $200,000 to $500,000. Your portfolio is 40 commercial sites, strip malls, an office park, an HOA, a regional medical center, and 2 distribution hubs on the edge of town. The medical center pays $20,000 a month from November through March, zero tolerance, which means the lot is bare pavement 24 hours a day, every day, and a liquidated damages clause kicks in if it isn't. You have a full-time office manager now. You have a salt shed with 400 tons of bulk rock salt stacked inside, because the 2013 to 2014 winter taught you that when the state of New Jersey hits a salt state of emergency, there is no salt to buy, and Cleveland went 20,000 tons short in the 2024 to 2025 season. You buy in July and you sleep better in January. The first slip-and-fall suit arrives in the mail the week of Thanksgiving. A woman fell at a strip mall you service, broke her wrist, and her attorney has named your firm, the property owner, and the mall's REIT as co-defendants. Your general liability carrier, one of 3, still writing snow in your state, hires a defense firm. You spend 14 months in discovery handing over salt logs, pre-treat timestamps, bag weight receipts, and the driver's phone records. Because your logs are timestamped to the minute, and your pre-treat was applied 47 minutes before the freeze window, the case settles for $94,000 in the second year. Inside your policy, no premium blow-up. The operator down the road who kept paper logs in a binder pays out $340,000 on a similar fall the same month and loses his carrier. He doesn't operate next winter. You add 2 accounts he lost. This is the level where the business stops being about snow and starts being about paperwork. Your real product is the CG 2010 endorsement, the certificate of insurance, the ATMSI compliant log, and the $2 million umbrella. The plow on the front of the truck is the cheapest part. Level 5. The regional commercial firm. You are 46. You run 60 trucks, 20 loaders, 6 RTV sidewalk crews, and 140 seasonal staff. Season revenue is $12 million on the snow side, and another $18 million on the landscape side that you bought 2 years ago. Because bundled landscape plus snow trades at a higher multiple than pure play snow. And every broker you meet at the SIM conference tells you so. Your name is on a Snow Magazine Top 100 list. You hold a certified snow professional credential, the 200-question SIM exam, 70% to pass, 15 continuing education units a year to keep, and fewer than 200 operators in the country hold it with you. Your book is Walmart, Target, 2 FedEx hubs, an Amazon fulfillment center, a 900-bed hospital system, and 30 other commercial sites. A 4-store Walmart seasonal contract pays you $250,000, about $62,500 per site, which sounds like a lot until you price the hospital down the street at roughly $100,000 for the same winter. The national retailers pay less per site than the local mom and pops. That is not a mistake. A national aggregator, one of the ones that sits between Walmart and you, shows up in your inbox in September with a new master services agreement. The new agreement pushes the hold harmless 2 layers further down. It makes you name Walmart, the aggregator, and the real estate trust behind them all as additional insureds on your $5 million umbrella. It caps your per-event payment at last year's rate. The math on the 4 Walmarts now barely clears your loader fuel. You sign anyway, because losing the 4 stores in October leaves 2,600 billable hours of loader time with nowhere to go. The hospital, on the other hand, pays you direct. No aggregator, no squeeze, no hold harmless push, and the medical center contracts grow every year. You stop bidding retail and start bidding health systems. Because you stop bidding retail, your margin rises 3 points in one season, and a mid-market private equity firm calls in June. They've been watching your EBITDA for 3 years. They want to know whether you'd like to talk about a valuation. You take the call. Level 6. The PE-backed roll-up. You are 58. The private equity firm that called 2 years ago has just closed on your company at 8 times EBITDA, which on your numbers works out to a transaction in the low 9 figures. You are staying on for 5 years as CEO of the platform, with rollover equity, a seat on the board, and a mandate to do 12 tuck-in acquisitions in 36 months. Your real benchmark is not your own deal. Your real benchmark is Scott Brickman, who joined his family's firm in 1986, took over as CEO at 35, and sold the Brickman Group to KKR in December 2013 for $1.6 billion. Brickman merged with Valley Crest in June 2014 to create a combined $2 billion entity with 22,700 employees, and went public as BrightView on the New York Stock Exchange on July 2, 2018 at $22 a share, raising $501 million in net proceeds at a $2.3 billion market cap. The story you tell yourself, sitting at the closing dinner, is that you are the 6th generation of the same arc: teen shoveler, solo truck, crew, commercial firm, regional firm, platform. The story the market tells is different. BrightView, 7 years after its IPO, trades in the mid-teens, not the mid-20s. One Rock Capital had to write a $500 million check of convertible preferred equity into the company in August 2023 to stabilize it. KKR has been selling down its position in secondaries. $227 million worth in 2024 alone. The peak for the founder is usually the sale itself, not the listing, not the 5-year earnout. The sale. You clear 42 driveways on the last big storm of your life. Not because you have to. You lease the plow to the new owner's fleet, and you take out 1 truck with 1 blade, and you drive the original route your dad ran in the 90s. The 14-year-old down the block is out with a plastic shovel and a flyer. He charges $40 a driveway cash, and the hourly math on his shovel beats the hourly math on your 60-truck platform by a factor of 8. He does not know this. He will find out if he survives the next 40 years of 3 a.m. wake-ups, the 16-hour shifts, the 60 to 80-hour blizzard runs, the 1 in 6 slip and fall odds, the season a carrier drops you, the season the salt runs out, and the master services agreement that names a real estate trust he'll never meet as an additional insured on his umbrella. The harder question is the one the industry will not answer out loud. 64% of 2041 U.S. weather stations now record less snow than they did in the early 1970s. Northeast and southwest snowpack is falling 10 to 20% per decade. The survivors are not the ones who plowed the hardest. They're the ones who bundled landscape with snow in time, because the business that sells only snow is selling a product the climate is quietly taking off the shelf. Then there is the part nobody puts in the brochure. The person who reviews your exit valuation has never been in a truck at 3 a.m., has never priced a driveway by eye, has never watched a loader operator quit in February, has never read ACG 2010 endorsement at a closing table. The 14-year-old on your old route makes $96 an hour and owes nobody. You made $1.6 billion and owe a board, a lender, and 5 more years. Both of you are working the same storm. Only one of you is free.